Today, we're tackling a challenge that I think every serious language learner hits eventually.
Oh, absolutely.
You move past grammar, you know the words, but you still don't feel clear or confident.
Right.
So our mission is to analyze a very structured method for this.
Yeah.
Specifically, how to refine your accent and just sound more like a native speaker.
We're doing a deep dive into the English imitation technique.
And this isn't just another practice drill. I mean, it really offers an efficient shortcut for anyone who feels, stuck on that B2 or C1 plateau. What's so interesting to me is how it flips the script. It forces you to train your mouth using your ears.
Right.
By listening and mimicking instead of using your eyes, which is what most of us do. We read a word and we just guess the pronunciation.
We guess the rhythm, the flow, all of it. So yeah, we're going to unpack the 3 main steps of this technique.
Okay. And
then we'll look at the practice material they use, which is actually a pretty engaging story about a last-minute trip to Portugal. And that's such a smart choice of material, The source itself says that travel stories are conversational gold.
Yeah, they really are.
It's just an instant relatable topic. It gives you so many opportunities to ask questions, share your own experiences. It's practical right from the start.
Okay, so let's get into the mechanics of it. The core claim here is pretty bold. It says, this is one of the most effective ways to reduce an accent and fix those fossilized pronunciation mistakes.
It's all about prosody.
Prosody?
Yeah, the musicality of the language. The stress, the intonation, the rhythm, the pauses. Most learners spend years on vocab and grammar, which you need, of course.
Of course.
But they often ignore the music because, textbooks don't really teach it. This technique forces you to learn those contours.
But why is it so hard to just pick that up by listening casually? I mean, why do you need a whole technique for it?
Because your native language has already carved these deep auditory pathways in your brain. When you look at an English word, your brain tries to map its pronunciation onto the sounds of your first language.
Okay.
By listening this intensely, you you bypass that internal translation step. You're training your ear to demand the right sound before you even think about the spelling. It's like, you can't just know the words, you have to know the song they belong to.
I really like that. Know the song. Because that's often what separates clear speech from speech that just sounds stilted, even if it's perfectly grammatical.
Exactly.
So once you commit to this ear training, the practice itself is broken down into 3 steps. So the first 2 really lay a foundation. Step 1 is simply listen and read. You just follow the words on the screen as they're spoken.
Right, so you're mapping the correct sound onto the correct spelling. You're breaking that habit of guessing.
And then step 2, listen and imitate. There's a pause after the speaker says a sentence, and you repeat exactly what you heard.
And the crucial part of step 2 is iteration. The instructions are super clear. You repeat this again and again and again.
Until it sounds right to you.
Until you think you sound exactly the same. You can even slow the audio down to really isolate the sounds and practice the muscle movements before speeding it back up. This isn't just mental, it's physical training.
Oh, absolutely.
You're building muscle memory in your tongue, your jaw, your lips.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It's like you wouldn't expect to play a piano piece perfectly the first time you see the sheet music.
Precisely. You practice it slowly, bit by bit, until your fingers just know where to go.
And that muscle memory idea leads right into the biggest challenge, which is step 3, shadowing.
Ah, yes, shadowing.
The technique itself calls this the hardest part, even for very advanced speakers. Shadowing is when you listen and speak at the exact same time.
You're talking right over the original speaker, just a fraction of a second behind.
Yeah, they compare it to singing along with your favorite song. At first it's just a mess, but you get better at it.
The value there is just immense. It forces your brain into this immediate feedback loop. You hear the original, and at the same time you hear your own voice trying to match it.
So you can hear the difference in real time.
Instantly. Any little mismatch in rhythm or pitch or pausing, your brain flags it and you self-correct. It is, I think, the fastest way to fine-tune those natural speaking skills.
Okay, but here's the detail that really jumped out at me. The thing I think we need to unpack. The goal isn't just copying pronunciation or stress. The source says you should try to copy the speaker's facial expressions.
Yes.
That sounds, I don't know, a bit much. Why is that so important?
Okay, so that is a real deep dive nugget right there.
What?
This is where articulation meets psychology.
Right.
When we try to make a foreign sound, we often fail because the muscles around our mouth and vocal tract, they just aren't trained for that specific movement. Think about the difference between like an English E sound and a French U sound.
Completely different shape.
It's a total reshaping of the lips. By consciously copying the facial expression, the lip rounding, the smile, the tension in your cheeks, you are physically forcing your mouth into the correct position to make the sound. It connects the visual, the auditory, and the physical. It is total immersion muscle training.
So if the speaker in the video is smiling when they're talking about a happy memory,
Yes.
copying that smile doesn't just convey the emotion, it's actually helping you form the right vowel sounds that go with that higher positive pitch.
Exactly. It's a brilliant integration of the physical and the linguistic.
That is fascinating. Okay, so now that we get the method listen, read, listen, imitate, and then the big challenge, shadowing. Let's look at the content they chose. This personal story about Lisbon.
Right. So the story is all about a spontaneous trip. The speaker calls it a bit of a last-minute decision. A friend was at a conference and convinced them to tag along. And they mentioned they're not usually a spontaneous person, but this one all just happened at the right time. That kind of personal reflection is so valuable for practice.
Why are those specific phrases, like a bit of a last-minute decision, so useful for an advanced learner?
Because they're full of natural connected speech. Reductions, fillers, things you just don't get in a textbook. A native speaker doesn't say bit of I, they say bitava.
Right, it gets smoothed out.
And if you only practice single words, you miss that flow. Practicing a story about spontaneity means you're practicing the patterns of spontaneous speech.
And the description of Lisbon itself gives you this rich material to work with. The story mentions the city is full of beautiful cobblestone streets, and the speaker spent time wandering around in the sunshine, just winding through these old neighborhoods.
And then you get the sensory details. They talk about the famous custard tarts, the pastéis de nata.
Oh, of course.
And they say they ate so many they thought they were going to burst. Now that phrase, going to burst, requires a change in your pitch and your vocal intensity. It forces you to practice projecting emotion. If you shadow that correctly, you're practicing how to deliver exaggeration in English.
The transport section is great too. It mentions one of the coolest things they did was jump in a tuk-tuk with a guide.
Yeah, and the value there isn't just the word tuk. It's the phrases around it.
Like the reason why.
Exactly. They say it was easier than walking because it was so hot. That casual complaint, the stress on so hot, that's pure practical prosody training.
And then there's the guide, Paula. She grew up in Lisbon and was a wealth of knowledge.
And there's another great idiom, a wealth of knowledge. Paula took them to these little back streets to see amazing street art, and the speaker says there was no way they would found those hidden gems on their own.
No way, that's a good one.
It's perfect for practicing emphatic negation. It needs that strong downward intonation. The whole story is built as a series of these emotionally weighted moments, not just a list of facts.
It really does sound like the ideal material.
Yeah.
Concise, conversational, and completely natural. It wraps up with the speaker wishing they could have stayed longer.
So for you, the learner, the takeaway here is pretty clear. Mastery comes from structure. This technique gives you that three-part method, imitation, repetition, shadowing, that focuses squarely on that auditory motor connection. And using material like this Lisbon story equips you with language you can actually use. Language that's full of emotion and high-frequency phrases.
Which is why the source material mentions future lessons on more.
Yeah.
Let's say high-stakes interactions. They talk about creating lessons for disagreeing with someone or even arguing.
And this brings us right back to prosody and the power of shadowing. I mean, think about it. If you apply the strict steps of shadowing, listening, and speaking at the same time, copying the pitch, the rhythm to a difficult topic like an argument, how does that change things? It's not just about how clearly you say the words anymore. It changes the emotional impact, doesn't it? The level of control you have.
Wow, that is profound. You're saying that practicing the rhythm of an assertive argument could actually help you regulate your own tone in a real one.
It can help you sound clear and persuasive, not
defensive or just reactive.
Exactly. When you master the prosody of a language, you're not just fixing an accent. You're gaining control over your emotional expression, over your ability to influence the person you're talking to.
So the provocative thought for you to take away is this.
Consider how practicing that assertive rhythm and that controlled tone can improve your communication way beyond just grammar. It's about practicing clarity and confidence through the very sound of your voice. Think about that as you continue on your journey to real fluency.